Today we have Mr. Malcolm Day with us. He's the Managing Director of the ASX listed company called Delecta Limited. The ASX trading code is DLC, which is an exploration company focusing on its highly prospective REX uranium vanadium project located in Colorado in the US. Hi, Malcolm, welcome.
Thanks for having me on.
Could you please give us a background introduction of Delecta?
Yes, so Delecta's a shell company. It's currently an industrial stock. We are reviewing that at the moment, but our main focus is the REX uranium vanadium project in Colorado, and we also have a really exciting gold project in western Utah on the border of Nevada in the Carlin Trend, and we're progressing exploration on that as well.
So we haven't noticed the ASX announcement this morning regarding to the resumption of exploration at REX uranium projects. Shall we discuss a bit more regarding to this project, like when and why it was acquired, and when did this initial exploration completed and its initial result highlights?
Yeah, so we acquired the project in June last year, the REX project, and back then uranium was looking quite positive, but then we started some exploration. Then not long after we acquired the project, the outlook for uranium became quite stagnant. So we never really did a lot more exploration work on the project. But obviously in the last few weeks, things have changed. I mean, back in April this year, Morgan Stanley brought out a report forecasting uranium to be $48 a pound US by 2024. So that was all quite positive. And then of course, over the last few weeks, we've had Sprott buying physical uranium in the market, and that's changed things dramatically. Last week we had the spot price for uranium go up to US $42 a pound. For most miners, they need probably closer to $50 for it to become economic. So things have started to become exciting. And then of course, Shaw and Partners, the stockbrokers here in Australia, they announced last week that their forecast price for uranium would be US $60 a pound by 2028. Now that's only realistically 6 years away, and noting it takes a few years of drilling and studies to bring a project into mine anyway. So the whole outlook for uranium has changed dramatically over the last few months, and as a result, Delecta has decided to recommence a lot more vigorously, I suppose, the exploration at REX. So in the last couple of weeks, we've had geologists and surveyors out in the field doing some field mapping at REX and also doing some rock chip sampling. We're quite lucky in the fact that there's 4 historic small mines on the project, small uranium mines, and there's also a number of adits and old workings which we're able to access and view the mineralisation. So it really is a brownfields project. We know there's uranium and vanadium there. We just need to try and define enough for it to be an economic resource.
Great. And you've mentioned now currently it's doing the mapping and sampling on that. So is that the current exploration projects on that program on it, and how long it will continue?
Yes, so it's actually quite a large area. It's 256 claims. So each claim's 20 acres. So we don't want to waste money on exploration, so we need to narrow it down. So one of the first steps is to do the rock chip sampling and the field mapping. We've sent off the samples for assay. We expect them back later this month or early next month. Once we get those assays back, and then we can sit down and look at it on a map and try and work out what's the next step with uranium, or should I say with the exploration for uranium. We don't just want to drill holes anywhere. We need to get some compelling reasons to drill. And so the first step is a rock chip sampling.
Rock chip sampling, great. And so how long it would take roughly, like probably for following months, is what about like a news flow? There will be frankly have a lot of news come out.
Yes, so let's just say within the next month or so, we expect the results out for this current sampling. That'll define some of the areas for us, and then we'll go back out and do more rock chip sampling, more field mapping. We'll get inside in the underground mines, take samples from there as well. Also use GPS to accurately plot their position. And from that, we'll get a better understanding of the mineralisation, and that'll help us define drill targets. So hopefully early next calendar year, we'll be getting close to defining drill targets.
Thank you. And early this year, we have seen the new acquisition of the gold project called Speedway. How's that project going so far? Will there be more news regarding to this project as well, along with the REX project?
Yes. So we acquired that project earlier on this year, and we've done 3 or 4 visits with local geologists. And obviously, we can't send geologists from Perth due to COVID, but we've got a couple of great geologists on the ground over in Nevada and Utah. So the project's on the border of Western Utah and Nevada. We believe the Carlin Trend, which hosts the Long Canyon mine, our project sits on the end of that trend. The Long Canyon mine is owned by Barrick and Newmont. It's one of the most profitable gold mines in the world. They still have a resource of in excess of 3 million ounces. And there's a lot of geological similarities. We're quite lucky in the fact that the geologist who actually discovered Long Canyon back in the 90s, he actually lives and resides here in Perth. His name's Jeff Balfe. He's actually working for us as a consultant. He believes the project certainly has the potential to be a lookalike to Long Canyon. So over the last 6 months, we've done a number of rock chip sampling and field mapping exercises. We've also flown drone over the project to pick up ortho photos, which are basically high definition photos, which allows us to plot mineralization. We've also done the drone surveys for the electromagnetic, and these in conjunction with all the historical exploration and our rock chip sampling exploration enable Jeff, the geologist, to come up with drill targets, and that's what we're currently defining. So essentially he's collating all of our exploration efforts this calendar year in conjunction with the previous exploration to come up with a geological model for us to define exactly where we should drill. So we'd be hoping to be in a position to start drilling early next calendar year. But it's an exciting project.
Great. Yes, it's good to know. So in the portfolio currently have the gold project, uranium and vanadium projects. Is there any future acquisition plan? It seems like, so what will be the rationale, like you making your portfolio of the assets?
Well, we are assessing some other uranium vanadium projects at the moment. I won't say where, but in an exciting location. And we're also assessing other projects here in Australia, particularly base metal and gold projects. But look, the reality is we've been evaluating projects for a fair while now. We're very picky. We don't just want to pick any project, but there are a few exciting opportunities around.
Cool. So financially, what about the cash position currently? Is there any capital raising plans soon?
We don't have anything planned yet. No.
Cool.
We're lucky that a lot of our options are being started to be exercised. Obviously, there's a small cash flow positive business in Delecta at the moment, and that's enabling the company to at least do this preliminary exploration. As we get closer to drilling and we get a budget for the drilling, then we'll need to assess whether or not we need to do a capital raising.
Cool. Actually, the Delecta has been quiet for a while since earlier this year. Is that okay to tell to the market what has been happened and what has been done during the last couple of months?
Well, look, I don't think we're not in the business of just promoting the company on hot air. We really haven't had a lot going on. So as news comes through, so obviously with the REX project, we're in quite an exciting position right now, and we're getting close to drill positions for Speedway Gold as well. So I'd expect we should start having a lot more news flow come through now, but there wasn't much point in the last six or 9 months pushing too much out without a lot happening. And look, exploration is not a fast process. You've got to be diligent, and for us, we want to ensure when we drill that we have some very compelling reasons to drill, and we want to try to ensure that we've got as much chance of success as possible.
Great. It seems like it will be a very exciting period in the following months.
Yes.
So, okay. Is there any additional information you would like to talk to your existing and potential shareholders, and what we can expect from Delecta in following months and years?
Only to say that our main focus now is the REX uranium project. In saying that, obviously the price of gold is still looking great as well. So Speedway is still bubbling away. Both of those are exciting projects, but our main focus will probably be REX, and we'll continue assessing and evaluating other uranium projects. But we'll probably pick up the pace with that assessment, I think.
Cool. Thank you very much, Malcolm, for your time this morning and the detailed explanation to all interested investors. We hope to see more progressions on Delecta's REX and other projects as well, and look forward to witness growth in a very short future.
Great. Thanks for having me, Steph. Good on you.
Thank you.